Gently opening your eyes. Thank you, friends. Last class, we were understanding how by doing Sanyama, a yogi can have mastery on the Pradhana Prakriti, as well as we also understood how establishing the distinction or the realization of distinction is established between Sattva and Purusha, how we acquire the omnipotence and omniscience. Omnipotence is all round strength, and omniscience is all round knowledge. Sarva bhava अधिष्ठातृत्वम सर्व ज्ञानतृत्वम, ये हमने लास्ट सूत्र हमने पढ़ा, 49th one, where we realized how the realization of the distinction between sattva and purusha gives us complete mastery over the whole existence itself. How each and every object in this universe, which is, we can say, made up of the three gunas, how we can bring control on them, how we can know them, how we can have a complete understanding of them. So as the yogi is having a complete mastery over prakriti, it literally means that he can control the three gunas, sattva, raja, and tama. That is what the prakriti as a pradhan is made up of. So here, in the other words, we are understanding that the yogi is acquiring power over all the phases of existence, and he becomes omnipotent. Omniscience is like having simultaneous knowledge of everything, and that too at all the times. That is omniscience. And here, with this understanding, we come to the clarity that a yogi is becoming aware of the functioning of the gunas in all the phases of the time, that is past, present, as well as the future. And this gives the knowledge of, you can say, innumerable phases of existence, and that too all at once. Then we were talking about the Viveka Jnana, that is discriminative enlightenment. This Viveka Jnana, we can say, is the source of this knowledge or the omniscience or the omnipotence ability of a yogi. So Viveka Jnanam, Viveka Jnanam is very important for us to acquire, to get into that sattva and be very close in proximity to that source. और इससे क्या होता है वो अगले सूत्र में हमें बताया जाता है. The moment you are becoming more and more sattvic, the moment you are becoming what you can say omniscient and omnipotent, having ability of controlling everything that is existing in and around us, Patanjali Muni says that will lead to a kind of vairagya. And he says, tad vairagyat api. If you are gaining vairagya in that also, in what? in that discriminative knowledge, in that omniscience and that in that omnipotence. Tad vairagyat api dosh bij shaye kaivalyam. Dosha bija shaye. By doing that kind of vairagya, the renunciation of even that, renunciation of even that sattva which leads us to that vivekajat jnanam, the very seed of attachment is eliminated. Dosha bija shaye kaivalyam. This state will lead us towards experience of kaivalya. That is liberation. In our first chapter, when we were understanding Abhyas and Vairagya, we came across Param Vairagya. Tat Param Purusha Khyatir Guna Vaikrushnyam. That is the Param Vairagya where we are becoming detached of the gunas. And the same thing here we can connect and let ourselves know that this is the supreme renunciation that we were talking about in the first chapter, which can be brought about by gaining the knowledge and becoming all powerful with the practices of yoga. So the practical experience of yogic practices, no doubt, the day-to-day material life or mundane life that we are leading, we start realizing the worthlessness of the same. And we come to this fact, okay, let us become detached of all these things. The very moment of becoming more and more sattvic or becoming very much involved into every aspect of sattva, leading to this omniscient and omnipotence, we are getting into that state of knowledge. Now let us go ahead and get detached from this aspect also. And that's what Patanjali says, tad vairagyat api dosh bijashayi kaivalyam. So this is something that we will be completely able to get rid of the gunas and come to the state of kaivalya. So this is the last attachment which is supposed to be cut off with the discriminative knowledge, and all the powers associated with also be detached with. And this is all coming to us with that ultimate vivekajnana, even the highest knowledge, which is the characteristic of this Vishuddha Buddhi, or we can say the pure intellect, which is again an evolute of Prakriti only. A yogi needs to get detached from that also if he or she wants to get liberated. वहां तो ही और शी की बात ही नहीं आती, ही और शी तो हम शारीरिक हैं. When we go to the esoteric level, at the atmic level, there is no genderism over there. So as with the previous sutra, we were talking about complete mastery over Prakriti. Having that mastery does not mean that you have got freedom from that Prakriti. And a person, to enjoy that mastery, needs to be attached to that, what you can say, achievement. And when one has total control over any aspect of Prakriti, he becomes attached or she becomes attached to it. रोज दैनंदिन जीवन के अंदर भी हमारा यही हाल है. हम अपने सिंपल, जो हम रात को सोने के समय अपने बाजू में जो पानी की सुराही कहते हैं हम उसको, तो मेरी एक मिट्टी की पानी की सुराही थी, वो हमारी मेड ने काम करते समय गिरा दिया। तो एक अलग प्रकार का जो है ना, अंदर से ऐसे गुस्सा आ गया कि तुम बराबर से काम नहीं कर सकती, तुमने उसे तोड़ दिया। वो मेरी बहुत प्यारी सुराही थी। फिर ऐसा मुंह में आए हुए शब्द बोलते हुए कहीं ना कहीं योग के अभ्यास में रहने वाला इंसान क्या करता है, कोई बात नहीं, छोड़ दो, टूट गई, मिट्टी की थी, एक न एक दिन टूटनी थी, कल नहीं तो आज टूट गई, कोई बात नहीं। अब ये बात जो हम मैनिपुलेट करके बोलते हैं, उसका बात क्या होता है, हमको रियलाइज होता है कि अरे यार क्यों इतना अटैचमेंट, एक ना एक दिन तो सबको जाना ही है। तो कभी पत्नी पति को छोड़ के चले जाए, कभी पति पत्नी को छोड़ के चले जाए, कभी बच्चे छोड़ के चले जाए, कभी माँ बाप छोड़ के चले जाए। तो all these things are one day going to go away. We should not become attached to. The moment that attachment comes, we becomes possessed. और इसीलिए हर एक योग के प्रैक्टिशनर को ये डिटैचमेंट वाली भाषा समझ जानी चाहिए। By all means, as you are practicing and going ahead in yoga, even this state of omniscience or omnipotence, if they come to you, they are supposed to be renounced with the discriminative knowledge, vivekajnana. Such kind of supreme detachment alone will eliminate or can eliminate that dosha bija, the very seed of attachment. So here, धारणा ध्यान समाधि संयम करते हुए विवेक ज्ञान कैसे ला सकते हैं, वो तो हमने सीखा, लेकिन उसके साथ साथ ये भी सीखना चाहिए कि हाउ टू रेनुंशिएट दैट विवेक ज्ञान. सो रेनुंसिएशन ऑफ विवेक ज्ञान or vivekajanyana literally means the renunciation of the source, and that source is the source of the pure intellect, that is vishuddha buddhi, sattva. और उसका जब आप रिनाउंसिंग कर देते हो, then that sattva merges with the pradhana prakriti, and the moment that pradhana prakriti becomes stable related to you, you gain kaivalya, and that is what we become guणातीत. इसी को गुणातीत हम कह सकते हैं. भगवत गीता में भी हमने ये गुणातीत शब्द को समझने की कोशिश की 14वें अध्याय में, गुणत्रय विभाग योग. व्हाट डज दैट मीन? गोइंग बियॉन्ड द इम्पैक्ट ऑफ गुणास and to attain that swarupa avastha, tada drashtu swarupe avasthanam. As we understand this, we need to get connected with many other aspects. So from sutra number 51 to 55, we will try to understand how this state leads us into a kind of recognition like invitation from celestial beings, or a kind of ultimate pleasure. So here in the next sutra, where Patanjali wants us to understand स्थान्य उपनिमंत्रणे, संगस्य मया करणम पुनरनिष्ट प्रसंगात. Now here, non-acceptance of invitation by the celestial beings nor should it be the cause of vanity or pleasure, lest the possibility of the undesirable consequences. Now, celestial beings, we can say, these are the energies, these are the powers which rule certain regions of the universe. There are lesser gods. हमने भगवत गीता में भी इसके बारे में समझा. There are demigods, lesser gods, who can fulfill our wishes, who can offer us wealth, comfort, and enjoyment. So these things are available for the yogis also, who become omniscient and omnipotent. जब आपके पास इतनी सारी शक्तियां आ जाती हैं, सिद्धि प्राप्त हो जाती है, तो you will come to that level. But as you are getting that invitation, if a yogi accepts the invitation from such kind of celestial bodies, or even the yogi feels just a pleasure of getting invited, there is a problem. Huh? He is at great risk of forming bondages once again. साबिर भाई के साथ में ऐसा हुआ है. ऐसा एक बार हुआ कि हमने लाइफ में फर्स्ट टाइम 2006 के अंदर प्राणायाम का लेक्चर बहुत अच्छे से लिया, और वो हमारा वासंतिक वर्ग होता है, यानी समर कोर्स. उस समर कोर्स में वासंतिक वर्ग कंडक्ट करते हुए जब मैंने वो प्राणायाम का सेशन कंडक्ट किया, जहां पर लगभग कम से कम 500 से 600 लोग बैठे हुए थे पूरे पंडाल में, और उनको कंसेप्ट्स को समझाते हुए एक 1.25 घंटे का लेक्चर उनको अच्छे से बताया कि किस तरह से उसको कनेक्ट करना चाहिए. गुरुजी के फेवरेट हो गए, और गुरुजी ने उसके बाद में जो है सब लोगों से कहने लगा कि अभी ये टॉपिक के ऊपर लेक्चर साबिर लेगा. साबिर बहुत अच्छी तरह से लेता है, उसका हिंदी के ऊपर होल्ड अच्छा है और वो बोलता अच्छा है. ही हैज द नैक ऑफ कनेक्टिंग टू द थिंग्स वेरी क्लियरली. तो जैसे सर ने ऐसे कहा तो साबिर भाई का थोड़ा सा सीना चौड़ा हो गया. जो 26-25 इंच का रहता है वो पूरा 36 इंच का ऐसे हो गया. अब वहां प्रॉब्लम आ गया. The moment you are recognized that you are having the knowledge, you are still at ease. But when you are getting an invitation from the surrounding that oh you are having a knowledge, तो फिर तो वो knowledge से ज्यादा बड़ा आपका experience हो जाता है. And you feel somewhat great potential. Now here is where you have to understand you are at a greater risk. What is that risk? Getting into that bondage. And friends, मेरा एक दोस्त है YVN में, बड़े प्यारे दोस्त है मेरे, उनका नाम है विनोद जोशी. तो वो मेरे करीब आए और मुझे बोले, साबिर, हम लोग है ना 20-25 साल से सर के पास पापड़ बेल रहे हैं, लेकिन हमको कभी ऐसा रिमार्क मिला नहीं, और सर ने आज तेरे को बड़े प्यार से ये अगर कभी उपाधि दी है तो बहुत अच्छी बात है, लेकिन मैं एक वार्निंग भी देता हूँ. तो मैंने बोला, क्या सर, क्या वार्निंग? ये सर ने उठाकर तो बिठा दिया तुमको, लेकिन थोड़ा भी फॉल्ट मिलेगा ना, कब नीचे गिरा देंगे तेरे को खबर भी नहीं लगेगी. तो बी ग्राउंडेड. Let your feet be grounded on the floor. Do not elevate and start flying. अब ये जब सोचने की कोशिश की और उसमें समझने की कोशिश की, तो फिर ऐसे लगा कि हाँ, ये पॉसिबिलिटी है. आज मैं अच्छा कर रहा हूँ, पसंद आ रहा है, तो वाहवाही हो रही है, लेकिन कल एक छोटी सी मिस्टेक जो है मुझे ऐसा नीचे गिरा देगी कि फिर वो लेवल पे आकर उस तरह से परफॉर्म करना भी शायद मेरी लायक ही ना हो. Now, this is the risk that every yoga teacher or a yogi is going through, and they can fall prey to such kind of temptations also all around. And friends, you are a very matured student crowd. कभी कभी हम जो नए, हम लोग अपने बम्बैया भाषा में बोलते हैं ना, कच्चा लींबू, जब वो योग के फील्ड में आ जाता है सीखने के लिए ना, तो हम देखते हैं उसको, ऐसा लगता है 1 साल के कोर्स के बाद में उसको सब आ गया। फिर ऐसा कभी कभी बोलना पड़ता है, आज हम 17-18 साल हो गए, अभी तक वहीं लटके हुए। भाई तुम ऐसा मत समझो कि तुमको बहुत कुछ आ गया, जस्ट बी ग्राउंडेड। तो यहाँ की बात क्या हो रही है? फॉर अ योगी हु इज ऑन द थ्रेशोल्ड ऑफ गेटिंग इनटू द कैवल्य, ए सिंपल apparent maybe auspicious action, like helping anyone by becoming compassionate to come out of sorrow, even that compassion can become a hurdle in your process of getting kaivalya. Remember that. इसीलिए जब हम चित्त प्रसादनम पढ़ते हैं ना दोस्तों, तो उसमें हमने क्या पढ़ा था? फर्स्ट चैप्टर 33rd सूत्र, मैत्री, करुणा, मुदिता, उपेक्षा। ये उपेक्षा एक ऐसा वैल्यू है that you should inculcate. You should not become attached to anything. You should always have that feeling of let go, and you should not get recognized or attached to any aspect. You should be able to show indifference to everything, whether it is compassion or whether it is anything else. Because yogic way, if we are talking about the yoga way of Ashtanga yoga as Patanjali has taught us, such kind of action can become a hurdle. And we need to know how this can be a hurdle, because this is part and parcel of medium of Prakriti only. ये जितनी बातें होती है ना, प्यार, मोहब्बत, compassion, attachment, these are all connected to Prakriti. And you are going beyond all these things. You are going beyond all the emotions. So when you become omniscient, omnipotent, विवेक ज्ञान से आपने ये सब तो पा लिया, अब आपको क्या करना है? ये ज्ञान को भी आपको डिटैच करना है। दोष बीज क्षय कैवल्य। So Patanjali Muni is really warning us that any kind of invitation from the lesser energies existing around you, such kind of invitation should be discarded, because they all have contacts with Prakriti. They are engaged in the Prakritic changes, and hence they are supposed to be completely discarded. अगर हम अद्वैत वेदांत को अच्छे से पढ़ते हैं ना, तो सगुण ब्रह्मन के बारे में एक्सप्लेन करते करते आदि शंकराचार्य हमको ये बात बताते हैं कि हाउ वी शुड हैव द फीलिंग ऑफ निर्गुण ब्रह्मन, हाउ फ्रॉम द प्रोजेक्शन विच इज एन इल्यूजन विच वी शुड नो द ट्रूथ। और कहीं ना कहीं ये अद्वैत भाव की जो भावनाएं है ना, ये प्रकृति और पुरुष के ड्युअलिटी को भले हम रियलिटी समझकर पढ़ रहे हैं, क्योंकि सांख्य से रिलेटेड है, ये योग का पूरा नॉलेज हमारे सामने, तो ये पढ़ते पढ़ते हमको ये कंसेप्ट ध्यान में रखना है कि फाइन, प्रकृति इज जस्ट फॉर द सेक ऑफ नोइंग योरसेल्फ एंड गेटिंग इनटू दैट स्वरूप अवस्था, दैट्स ऑल। और ये डिटैचमेंट होना बहुत जरूरी। अब व्हाट इज दैट विवेकत ज्ञानम? फ्रॉम सूत्र नंबर 52 to 55 we will be understanding the whole explanation about that Vivekajat Jnana. Shana tat kramayoho sanyamat vivekajam jnanam. By practicing sanyama on the moment and its sequence, abhi moment ke after that another moment will come. So by practicing sanyama on the very moment and its sequence, the discriminative knowledge is acquired. So we were talking how this Vivekajat Jnanam will come by practicing Sanyama. Sanyama on that present moment. The moment passes, the next moment comes, and sequentially that moment goes on going in. और यही बात जो है ना क्षण भंगुरता के रूप में बुद्धिज्म में एक्सप्लेन की गई है, द लॉ ऑफ इम्परमानेंस। तो संयम ऑन द मोमेंट एंड इट्स सीक्वेंस leads to the attainment of that ultimate discriminative knowledge. If we want to understand this to a greater extent, I would just like to make you understand, like just as an atom, we call it as the smallest unit of matter. Moment is the smallest unit of time. एक सेकंड के भी 10 फ्रैक्शन सेकंड्स होते हैं, और उसका भी कुछ फ्रैक्शन होगा तो पता नहीं। When the later moment succeeds the earlier one, it is called a sequence. This illusion, actually this is the illusion of the flow of time from past to present and from present into future, is created due to the succession of these moments. जैसे कि एक बहती नदी की धारा होती है, the flow of water appears continuous as the water keeps on flowing, coming drop by drop one after another, लेकिन ये सारे ड्रॉप्स मिलकर इतना बड़ा फोर्स बन जाता है। And in the very similar manner, the flow of time appears to be continuous when we can say the moments flow in a sequence. क्षण तत्क्रमयोः संयमात्. Continuity of the time, you can say, is the last illusion to be transcended by a yogi who is in sanyama. And this is possible only if sanyama is performed on that moment. Moment after moment and its sequence. With sanyama, the yogi realizes that moment is real, but sequence, past and future are unreal. हम जिस moment में ना, that moment is real. When I am saying so many words, completing a sentence, during that saying of the sentence, so many moments are there. I need to come to that one moment and stick to it, because that one moment is continuously changing in that sequence. The change that takes place in a moment is the subtlest change, friends. And sanyama on that moment brings awareness of that change. Several moments are appearing in that sequence, and they produce a kind of mental conception of that. जैसे हम टाइम को मेजर करते हैं, a minute, an hour, a day or a year, and so on. So the moments leading into sequences, and we are creating ये समय पे हमको मिलना है, और वो मोमेंट के लिए हमको हर मोमेंट से गुजरना पड़ता है. Here the yogi can realize that time is not a factual reality, but only a mental conception. With this realization, every practitioner, every yogi can transcend time. Yes, we can go beyond time. जैसे हम प्रकृति के त्रिगुण कहते हैं ना, सिद्ध सिद्धांत पद्धति गोरक्षनाथ जी ने लिखी है, और गोरक्षनाथ जी अपने सिद्ध सिद्धांत पद्धति के अंदर ये एक्सप्लेन करते हैं, सत्व, रज, तम, और उसके साथ में और दो चीजें बताते हैं, और वो दो चीजें क्या है? एक तो काल और पांचवा जीव, फोर्थ एंड फिफ्थ as a part and parcel of Prakriti. Now his philosophy is very much connected to Yoga Sutra, but his way of explanation is totally different. And there also we come to this understanding that it is because of avidya that we see permanence in impermanence. We can say that because of the sequence involved, the mutations are occurring every moment to produce that feeling of continuity of time. And this very avidya, because of this avidya, time which is not continuous appears to be continuous. Time which is not continuous appears to be continuous. Now, what makes us to go from this continuity to momentness? That is the discriminative knowledge. The discriminative knowledge which eliminates the avidya, the realization of the distinction between permanent and impermanent is clearly visible. Between self and non-self comes to our understanding, between real and unreal. And this is nothing but Vivekacha Jnanam. Friends, we all know time is relative. Knowledge acquired in time is also relative. Knowledge of the absolute is possible only when a yogi transcends the time, he goes beyond the kala. That makes the Viveka Jnana possible. So Vivekajam Jnanam, the discriminative knowledge, is possible when the ultimate stillness is coming to us and we are becoming stationary with that moment. And that's where he says in the 53rd Sutra, Jati Lakshana Desha Anyata Anavachhedat Tulyayoho Tatah Pratipattihi. Jati Lakshana Desha Anyata Anavachhedat Tulyayoho Tatah Pratipattihi. The two identical things which cannot be distinguished by class, characteristics, or position. Class, jati, lakshana, characteristic, and desha, the position, can be differentiated by the Vivekacha Jnanam. This sutra is trying to point out the highest attainment of the Vivekacha Jnanam. That the things can be distinguished from each other because of these three major differences. What are those three major differences? Jati, Lakshana, and Desha. That of class, characteristic, or position. For example, a cow can be easily distinguished from a dog or a camel, you can say. As they belong to different species, jati, their class is different. But at the same time, two cows, though they are belonging to the same class, can be distinguished from each other because of the lakshana, their temporal characteristics, such as color or some kind of, सिंग का शेप, बड़े सिंग है या सिंग नहीं है, या साइज कैसा है, दुबला पतला. These are all lakshana. But at the same time, let me tell you one thing. Two coins minted on the same day cannot be distinguished except for their position. What is that position? One is on the right side and the other one is on the left side. अब अगर कभी दो कॉइन रखे हुए हैं, जैसे हम लोग बोलते हैं ना काटा और छापा, हेड एंड टेल, वो दोनों की पोजीशन से ही आप उसको डिस्टिंग्विश कर सकते हैं ना. तो three examples as I am giving it to you. One, the differentiation of the cow with the other species, the differentiation between the two cows because of the characteristics, and then the differentiation between the two coins as they are positioned in the other way. What are this trying to tell? If their positions are changed, and when the observer is not looking, it is impossible to distinguish between the two coins. कि लेफ्ट में कौन सा रखा हुआ था, राइट में कौन सा रखा हुआ था, अगर दोनों की पोजीशन सेम है तो. लेकिन अगर कभी हमको मालूम है कि दिस वाज ऑन द हेड एंड दिस वाज ऑन द टेल साइड, एंड इफ देयर पोजीशंस आर चेंज्ड, वी कैन से यस, दिस इज द चेंज. लेकिन यहाँ पर खास बात क्या है दोस्तों, अब आप योगी हैं, आपको विवेकजन ज्ञानम मिल गया है, दैट डिस्क्रिमिनेटिव नॉलेज आ गया है. ओनली विद दैट डिस्क्रिमिनेटिव नॉलेज such kind of minute change can be recognized. Even the same coin is undergoing a change, friends. We do not realize it. Every moment it is going under a change. कुछ सालों के बाद में ना हमको थोड़ा सा वो घिसा हुआ दिखता है, थोड़ा काला हो गया हुआ दिखता है? वो जो जूना कॉइन रहता है ना, उसका सरफेस एकदम स्मूथ रहता है, और जो नया कॉइन रहता है उसका सरफेस थोड़ा सा क्या बोलते हैं आप, खरबुड़ा रहता है? या यू कैन से इट इज with the structure you can feel it. Only a yogi can pursue this minute change at the very moment. तो एक योगी वो कॉइन के अंदर अगर कोई चेंजेस देख सकता है, तो इसका मतलब क्या हो गया, at the very atomized level he can go ahead and understand it. The word pratipatti here is an antonym of the word samapatti. हमने समापत्ति फर्स्ट चैप्टर में पढ़ा, सवितर्क, निर्वितर्क, all the samapattis we have understood. जहां पर सूत्र नंबर 41 में हमने ये पढ़ा, क्षीण वृत्तेर अभिजातस्येव मणे ग्रहितृ ग्रहण ग्राह्येषु तत्स्थ तद अंजनता समापत्ति ही. That was the understanding of the definition of samapatti. So in samapatti, two different things merge into one. While in pratipatti, two indistinguishable things can be understood separately. So pratipatti का एंटोनिम क्या है, समापत्ति. समापत्ति में हमने देखा कि टू थिंग्स आर गेटिंग मर्ज्ड, और यहां पर हम क्या देख रहे हैं, टू इनडिस्टिंग्विशेबल थिंग्स जिसके अंदर हम फर्क नहीं समझ सकते, कैन बी अंडरस्टूड सेपरेटली. ये है, ये है, ये तुमको बिलोंग करता है, ये तुमको बिलोंग, ये लेफ्ट साइड में था, ये राइट साइड में था. And you know, friends, this Vishuddha Buddhi, which is now completely in the state of Sattva and the state of Purusha, when we come to that level, they are literally indistinguishable. But the Sattva belongs to Prakriti, and which Prakriti is dead, insentient, we say. And the later is Purusha, which is pure consciousness. Only a yogi with Vivekacha Jnanam can discriminate or can distinguish between the two similar. Why? To go beyond Prakriti. यही स्टेट होता है जो विशुद्ध बुद्धि जो है ना, डिस्क्रिमिनेटिव नॉलेज जो है. इसीलिए तो पतंजलि मुनि ने इन दैट सेकंड चैप्टर ही टोल्ड योग अंग अनुष्ठानाद अशुद्धि शये ज्ञान दीप्तिरा विवेक ख्याति. That viveka khyati, that ultimate discriminative knowledge will come to you by being getting established from step by step all the yoga angas and overcoming all the impurities, letting the light of viveka khyati illuminate. So all this explanation we can connect to the previous sutras and still go ahead. In that 54th one, if you see, he's telling us तारकम सर्व विषयम सर्वथा विषयम च इति विवेकजम ज्ञानम. The discriminative knowledge is taraka, transcendental. all comprehensive of all times, and it is without sequence. So see here the discriminative knowledge, the Vivekaja Jnanam, Tarakam Sarva Vishayam, Sarvatha Vishayam, Akramam Cha Iti. So this discriminative knowledge is transcendental, all comprehensive of all the times, without sequence. So here, a kind of further characteristic of discriminative knowledge is given here in this sutra. And this knowledge is called as Taraka, the transcendental knowledge, which means that it is going to protect us from worldliness. It is the transcendental knowledge where all the objects are known once simultaneously. We are knowing everything in and around us at once. Nothing is outside its scope. Sarva Vishayam of all times. Sarvatha Vishayam, all the things in past, in present, and in future, with all the characteristics, are within its scope. Having no sequence means that all the things are known at once at the same moment. But this is not an ordinary process. Not by ordinary process in which things are known one after another. This is happening instantaneously. This discriminative knowledge is the ultimate knowledge. It is born only out of the awareness of the supreme reality. So that's how we call the Sarva Vishayam at every time or all the times. Sarvatha Vishayam means that all things in past, present, and future is understood. And as this is being told, the 55th, what it says? Sattva Purushayoho Shuddhi Samye Kaivalyam. The equality of purity between Sattva and Purusha leads to liberation. Sattva Purushayo Shuddhi Samye. So that purity and the equality of purity between the Sattva, तो हमको सत्व को उस लेवल तक ले जाकर प्योर बनाना है, where it goes and recedes into the pradhana prakriti, and what reveals is Purusha. So here, as again and again I am telling you, this sattva is nothing but the pure intellect, the chitta, which is without the any kind of fluctuations related to rajas and tamas. Such a kind of pure chitta acts as a perfect mirror in which the Purusha is getting reflected. As it is, you can say. And you know, as this image which is getting reflected gets established in the self, we can understood it as Swarupa Avastha. क्योंकि बाकी सत्व का भी जो होल्डिंग था वो ड्रॉप हो गया यहाँ. It is like, you know, एक पुरानी स्टोरी है कि जिसमें एक शेर का बच्चा जो है भेड़ बकरियों के साथ में बड़ा होता है. शेर का बच्चा भेड़ बकरियों के साथ में बड़ा होता है, और जैसे बड़ा होता रहता है ना, तो वो उन्हीं के जैसा बर्ताव करने लगता है. उसको दहाड़ने के बजाय मैं करता है। लेकिन जब वो अपना इमेज पानी में देखता है, अपने दांतों को देखता है, अपने चेहरे को देखता है, द मोमेंट दैट लायन लुक्स टू इट्स रिफ्लेक्शन इन द वाटर, द मोमेंट ही कम्स टू नो अबाउट हिज ट्रू नेचर, वो दहाड़ने लगता है, स्टार्ट्स रोरिंग। और हमारी अवस्था क्या है? दुनिया जैसे बह रही है, हम उसी के साथ में बह रहे हैं। कभी कभी हमारे बच्चे कहते हैं, आपके पिताजी ने, माता पिता ने आपको कह लिया शादी कर लो, तुमने कर ली, और आप हमको कहेंगे तो हम भी कर लेंगे क्या? हमको अभी मूड नहीं है शादी करने का। अभी हमारा बेटा बड़ा हो गया, बेटी बड़ी हो गई, हम बोलते हैं टाइम हो गया अभी तुम लोगों की शादी करने का है। हमारी शादी तो जब हम 23 साल के थे तब हो गई, और तुम्हारी मम्मी जो है उस टाइम पे सिर्फ 17 ईयर्स की थी। ऐसा जब मैं बोलता हूँ ना, तो वो क्या बोलते हैं मालूम है? वो तुम्हारा टाइम था 28 साल पहले, अभी नहीं। अभी हमारा टाइम डिफरेंट है बाबा। So they are having a look in the mirror of the present scenario and taking decisions. In fact, they are learning to roar like that lion, which I gave you the example. So, not getting with the precedence, they are not behaving as it is. They are changing. और यही मैं कहता हूँ, a pure chitta means that chitta which is without any kind of vrittis. The nature of the Purusha is what we can say is hidden behind the chitta vrittis. जैसे कि रात के समय द सन इज हिडन बिहाइंड द मून एंड वी कैन सी द शाइनिंग मून। द प्योर चित्त इज लाइक, you know, that sun which is hidden behind the moon, but the moment the morning comes in, it shines into its own glory. और यही बात कर रहे हैं हम कि the moment you know the pure chitta, it will shine in its true form, and that is swarupa avastha. व्यास भाष्य की एक बात याद आती है यहाँ पे। It points out that purity of the chitta is more than enough for that liberation. अपने चित्त को शुद्ध करो, चित्त की शुद्धि होना बहुत जरूरी है। व्यास भाष्य में कहते हैं, इट इज नॉट नेसेसरी टू पोजेस दैट ओमनिशियंस और ओमनीपोटेंस, ऐसा कुछ जरूरी नहीं है। दीज आर ऑल पार्ट एंड पार्सल ऑफ संयम। और यू should not be having any kind of siddhis to attain kaivalya as such. What is more important is chitta shuddhi. The moment that chitta shuddhi comes in, the contact between the purusha and prakriti, which is because of that avidya, is getting dissolved. And this is because of that discriminative knowledge which eliminates this avidya. As this avidya is eliminated, all the other afflictions, the kleshas, asmita, raga, dvesha, abnivesha, they will not fructify. Na? The misery is eradicated there. All the pain are eradicated there. This is, according to Sankhya, known as the ultimate attainment, ultimate spiritual attainment. सांख्य टॉक्स अबाउट इट। सांख्य कारिका, अब हम आगे जाके वो भी समझने वाले हैं। यू विल बी कमिंग अक्रॉस दिस स्टेट। सो दिस इज एक्सप्लेन्ड हियर। कई लोगों का तो ये कहना है, मैंने ये कैवल्यम के आगे इति पढ़ा नहीं। कुछ आप बुक्स देखेंगे ना, तो उसमें लिखा हुआ है कैवल्यम इति सत्व पुरुषयोः शुद्धि साम्ये कैवल्यम इति। इति का मतलब द एंड। उनका कहना है कि योग सूत्र 3 चैप्टर के ही है, चौथा चैप्टर जो है बाद में किसी ने ऐड कर दिया होगा, क्योंकि चौथे चैप्टर का थोड़ा लैंग्वेज का प्रोसेस अलग है। चौथे चैप्टर का जो कंटेंट है दैट इज मोर ऑफ द रेफ्यूटिंग नेचर. इट इज अगेन ब्रिंगिंग आउट द एस्पेक्ट ऑफ कैवल्य ज्ञान, sorry, karma sanskar and the relative knowledge which we were discussing earlier. Klesha. We are talking about different type of, karma. Shukla karma, Krishna karma, because of those kleshas. So what is the state of a yogi? Krishna, अकृष्ण. उन्होंने जैसे समझाने की कोशिश की है ना कि यू हैव टू कम टू दैट लेवल, अशुक्ल अकृष्ण कर्म. और यही एस्पेक्ट हमने भगवत गीता में भी पढ़ा. और ये सारी चीजें जो फिर से दोहराई जा रही हैं थोड़ी बहुत कहीं ना कहीं कनेक्ट करके, और नाम दे दिया चैप्टर का कैवल्य पाद. नाउ वी आर एंटरिंग इनटू दिस कैवल्य पाद. So with this whole understanding of the sanyama and doing sanyama on various aspects, gaining the siddhis, and how to avoid the siddhis in order to go to the kaivalya, or how one should come to that vivekajat jnanam, so that you are entering into the true aspect of sattva, which is like a mirror and making you get into that swarupa avastha. All this understanding is telling us now it is end. So ये 55th sutra is like, end of the yoga sutra itself. But no, there is a 4th chapter for us, and this contains 34 sutras. And if you see the first sutra itself, it says janma aushadhi mantra tapaha samadhi jaha siddhayaha. These supernatural powers which we were talking about earlier, they can be acquired by birth itself, through drugs or chemicals, you can say, by the chanting of certain mantras, doing tapah, penance, austerities, और समाधि. ये 5 बातें यहां पर हमको बताई गई हैं. जन्म, औषधि, that is the drugs or the chemicals, mantra, chantings, tapah, austerity, penance, and samadhi. So these supernatural powers can be acquired any one of them. और आयुर्वेद के अंदर अगर आप डीपली जाएंगे तो चरक संहिता में कुछ ऐसे कॉन्फॉक्शंस हैं जिसको बना के पीने के बाद में यू विल गेन दैट काइंड ऑफ पावर्स. तो अभी नेक्स्ट क्लास में भिड़े सर को हम लोग पूछते हैं, सर ऐसा कुछ आपने पढ़ा तो हमको बताओ, वी वांट टू अटेन दैट काइंड ऑफ पावर्स. लेट अस सी व्हाट ही opines for. So in Vibhuti-pada, as Patanjali has described various supernatural powers which are acquired through the practice of Sanyama, these are nothing but the siddhis born out of Samadhi. A yogi is not likely to use the siddhis for getting name and fame. पैसा कमाने के लिए नहीं है वो. But it is purely for the spiritual progress. And this we have discussed earlier. And we have also discussed this, that there are people who possess siddhis like, having a ability of clairvoyance. Or you can say, to know everything what is going on in the other person's mind by birth itself. So janma. And according to karma siddhanta, कुछ भी आपको अचानक नहीं मिलता है. फॉर योर इंफॉर्मेशन, लेट मी टेल यू, कर्म सिद्धांत की पॉलिसी हमको क्या बताती है कि पिछले कर्मों के आधार पर ही आपको अभी जो लाभ हो रहा है, जो प्रारब्ध कर्म है, दैट यू आर एक्सपीरियंसिंग, इट इज बिकॉज ऑफ द पास्ट. Don't think that it's an accidental and it is coming to you. So it is believed that even this siddhi of having clairvoyance right from the birth itself is because of the past karma, maybe in the previous birth. लेकिन एक बात पक्की है, अगर इसका गलत वापर किया, गलत इस्तेमाल किया, ये डेटोरिएट हो जाएगा, खत्म हो जाएगा, क्षय हो जाएगा। इसीलिए तो हमने हठ प्रतिपिका पढ़ते समय ये बार बार हमने समझने की कोशिश की कि हाउ वी शुड नॉट बी शेयरिंग दिस नॉलेज विथ एवरी अदर पर्सन. And there are some yogis, friends, who use the drugs, the herbs, etc., to acquire that supernatural powers. Or in fact, they use these herbs to remain in that kind of sthiti, which is going to make him to acquire that power. Some drugs really give you out of body experience. But let me tell you, this drinking of the potions or this herbs ka concoction and all is very dangerous. क्यों मालूम है? Instead of becoming a yogi, there are chances that you may become a drug addict. If you go to internet and try to understand the various drugs which people consume in order to get rid of the physical or emotional pains and all, in order to gain that ecstasy, वो ड्रग्स के अगर कभी आप समझने की कोशिश करेंगे ना, तो they tell very clearly कि in a small matra if you use, it is a medicine, but to a certain level it can be used. After that it should not be used. Even simple morphine, which is a painkiller, the body becomes, what you can say, resistant to it. So when the body becomes resistant to it, what we can say? It is gone. The effect has gone. So the drinking of the potion, only a very able yogi who knows the matra of the drug to be taken and in which context to attain what should be very clear. That kind of knowledge should be there. And then अभी हमने जन्म औषधि दोनों के बारे में समझा. मंत्र, अभी मंत्र शास्त्र तो हम सबको पता है. सारी दुनिया में हर मजहब में, every religion, we have this chanting of mantras. मंत्र दीक्षा दी जाती है, बताया जाता है कि किस तरह से मंत्र जाप करना चाहिए, how that repetition of the sacred mantra is to be done, how it is to be pronounced correctly, and with that right pronunciation what kind of vibrations will be produced, and how those vibrations will bring about a particular kind of change, or you can say desired results. And this desired results out of the chanting of mantra is known as mantra siddhi. So siddhi can be brought about with mantras also. Then the next one is tapa. What is that tapa? Austerity, tremendous willpower is generated through that what we call as hardship, penance or austerity. अगर आप हमारे पुराण आगम को पढ़ेंगे, they are full of stories where the demons are also doing the tapa in order to acquire supernatural powers. That we have studied. पंचतंत्र आप ले लो, उसमें आपको मिलेंगे. All these things are available. But at the same time, people think ये सब खाली स्टोरीज है, ऐसा ही है. ऐसा नहीं है। तप करने से वो सिद्धियां प्राप्त होती है। जैसा हम कहते हैं ना, जब तक मेहनत नहीं करोगे तो रिजल्ट कहां से मिलेगा। और ऐसा कहावत भी है, कोशिश करने से खुदा भी मिल जाता है। तो खुदा मिल जाना एक सिद्धि है, लेकिन कोशिश एक तप है। सो वो तप में आना और उस सिद्धि को प्राप्त करना इज द होल अंडरस्टैंडिंग। तो पहले ही सूत्र में पतंजलि मुनि ने हमें यह बता दिया, और सेकंड सूत्र से वो हमको एवोल्यूशन थियरी के बारे में समझा रहे हैं, ट्राइंग टू मेक अस अंडरस्टैंड थ्रू दिस सूत्र जाति अंतर परिणाम प्रकृति पूरात। ट्रांसफॉर्मेशन इनटू अनदर स्पीशी, जात्य अंतर परिणाम, ट्रांसफॉर्मेशन इनटू अनदर स्पीशी is due to the flow of inner nature, prakrutya purat. Along with this and the next one, it is going to explain to us the Indian concept of evolution of species. We all are aware about the Darwin's theory, which explains us about the law of evolution. So according to Darwin, new species is created or are created by mutation of cells. Darwin says that such mutation occurs by chance. And according to our philosophy, Indian philosophy, भारतीय दर्शन शास्त्र की बात अगर की जाए, evolution in species is due to the evolution of consciousness. In that 15th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, we have understood this fact that the soul draws the body, the mind, senses from Prakriti, which serve as instruments for our every other action, for our expression. So the soul which is drawing this body, mind and senses from Prakriti, it is only because of the innate nature. So what is your innate nature?